Third party and data management, your job is never done. My job is never done. From the moment data is instantiated to its gravesite, whether that's with a partner, whether that's on us, whether that's in the hands of an ultimate user, we're accountable for that entire time span across the array. Before you get started with anything else, getting oriented. In the current landscape, you want to look at what are the legal requirements. There's a lot of great ML and AI engines. Privacy Code was one of them to help you figure out which are the legal requirements that apply. Either you're building a program, you're building a feature, you're deciding to partner with someone. All of these have a context. Picking a framework. So just sometimes arbitrarily deciding that you're going to be a global entity. So I'm going to use the broadest framework possible. You're going to be quite specific to serve a very tailored community. So you're going to pick a framework that's only sort of in the vernacular of that community. Picking a framework is not just important for compliance for you, it's going to be sort of the heart and soul of how we're going to talk about what wickedness is, what wicked problems are, and how we can solve them together. And then baking in ethical processes. So ethics sounds like an ishy squishy word of fair, nice. It's actually a more normative progress. So once we tie our frameworks, we understand what our brand strategies, how our CMO would characterize our brands. Are we fast and cheap? Are we luxurious? All of those become your corporate ethics. And so defining how those break down into requirements helps us to build in and defend our ethical positions from the very beginning. And then leveraging formally compliance tools that would stack up on your lawyer's desk, actually using those to instantiate conversations, to prove repeatability, to get to metrics. So get your landscape down. Now I want to introduce you to my new favorite friend. For years, I've been in the privacy space and the intellectual property space for over 35 years. And it was always sort of this uphill battle of how do we sort of partner with the CISO? How do we get the CIO to give us our budget? How do we get the general counsel to stop saying no? And then I was introduced to this field of problems. It's a class of problems that are called wicked. Just because the problem is large doesn't mean it's wicked. And just because it's hard, it doesn't mean it's, or wicked, it doesn't mean it's unmanageable. A wicked problem, we'll start with an analogy. So education. Some kids get more, some kids get less. How long, how short, in person, remote. A wicked problem is similar to this type of a problem. There's no stopping rule. You're doing lifelong learning. How are you getting your education done? There's no solution that's right or wrong. It's all contextual learning. There's no immediate or ultimate test that it's done. I've learned enough. Same thing with hunger, same thing with security, same thing with privacy. It's never really done. You continuously have a solution set of evolving problems, and you have a number of stakeholders. So it's really the complexity, the timeline, and the nature of solving that makes a problem that seemed like a task or a campaign. We're going to get to GDPR, we're going to get to the Australian new cyber rules that are coming in 2025. No, you're really looking across a landscape of data use, data utility, data ethics. And so taking in how do you solve a wicked problem to help you sort of mold yourself into a greater contextual world and really put more wood behind one arrow of progress.